our audience is really parents of younger children still in elementary school and middle school. What advice would you give them in those early years?
Well, one question that we did not touch upon, and I think is essential, is that you can also succeed by failing. What does failure, what role does failure play in your life? Okay, so now we've talked about the fundamentals, this basement of your life, right? So you have that. Then you have all of these other things that are happening, social influences, school influences, other family influences, and so on. As soon as your child goes to school, even as soon as your child starts connecting with, you start connecting with another family, so you have all of these influences right away. And in some cases, everything's going to work just fine, and your child will be on the road to what you think is success. And then failure hits. Your child isn't the poster child. He's not, or she's not, the star pupil or the star athlete. And failure sets in. Okay, so what does a parent do immediately? You want to protect that child. You want to protect that child from consequences, right? You do. And that's normal, and that's fine. But don't go overboard with it. Don't go overboard with that protection. By, I'm just going to call Johnny's mother and read her the riot act because, this, the other thing. Well, that's absolutely wrong, because you're putting your child in greater social jeopardy then by getting involved in those tiffs. Failure, and again, I'm going to give another anecdote, okay, as an example. There was a young middle school aged young man in their school. They were choosing teams for the school teams, right? So they had tryouts. And of course, whatever it was, I think baseball or basketball or whatever it was. Let's say it was baseball, I don't know. And everybody makes it except for him. Okay, so totally dejected. Horrible feeling. Comes home, parents, especially the mother, is very protective. How could this be? This is ridiculous. They pick 5 and they don't pick you, and so on. However, to that boy, that experience was the starting point of an outstanding career, of an outstanding physical prowess career, and then a professional career. So in other words, for him, the failure served as I will show you moment that I will be better than all of you in this field, let's say. And it worked. So if you could channel that failure into another path, sometimes the child does it himself, sometimes, or herself. They see something that they don't like around them, whether it's in their family or in this case, failed at something. Okay, they stand up, dust themselves off, and say, okay, I'm going to move ahead. And that's where the parental basement comes in, because then they have that resilience. We want a child to be resilient also, not to be, this wilting flower that at the first sign of failure, you're gone. And it's the same with parents helping their kids with homework. When they overdo it, and in some cases, they'll even have their secretaries, the fathers will have the secretaries type up something, for a paper or something, even in middle school. I'm not even talking about high school. Okay, the teachers can see that, but what message are you giving your child? You're telling your child, I don't trust your ability. Let me fix it up for you. Okay, you're not helping the child. You're making him feel worse about himself. So anyway, these are kind of the parting thoughts that I would have about, as I said, the fundamental values, the importance of parenting, the importance of heritage as part of your identity, the importance and the definition of success. And of course, failure is also part of it. But the one sentence that I will probably leave with all of you is that you have to love your children unconditionally. Just love your children unconditionally. Watch them, see where they're going, see where their talents and their characters are leading them. Work with that particular characteristic of theirs, and love them. Especially in middle school, keep a good eye on them, because there's a lot of, there are a lot of mental health issues that arise in middle school. Have an open forum at home. We didn't in our discussion here. We didn't talk about how do you deal with the different kinds of attitudes that the world is suggesting to you, or that the school is suggesting to you. Well, dialogue, open dialogue. Teach your children to express their thoughts. Take a concept that maybe is being taught at school that you don't agree with as a parent, maybe. Deconstruct it. Take it apart with your child and say, okay, this is what they're saying. Now, is this really the way it is? And so this will teach the child to analyze whatever it is that they're hearing out there, or whatever they're reading in the paper, on the internet, or whatever. You want to teach them this critical thought process and verbal expression.
Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos.